we had the 1 year anniversary of The Voice on Monday. I played some clips of some of your clashes throughout that debate. Senator Price certainly copped it. No, you. There was the ABC interview, which I thought was appalling, but the incident on SBS where you had the host, Jacobs, calling Marsha Langton what did she call her? A national treasure, and saying you are lying about her, and SBS had to apologise. You were really impacted personally because the attacks against you were so ugly, they were so personal from social media, but also from mainstream media. A lot of people, I think you would have thought, would not go down that road. Just tell us what toll that took and how you've come through it.
And it's a continuous toll. You saw on Laura J's program this week with Eddie Sinnock. It just... I don't know what they teach people at university these days, but it's obviously not the truth. Anyway, it did take a lot of personal toll on me because some people would know that during that campaign I got into a suicidal position. But I wasn't going to be like what the Yes campaign did after they lost and lay in a fetal position on the floor. I still wanted to get up every day and fight the battle for Australia, fight the battle for everyone in this country. And they're the ones who kept me going because I'd get up in the morning and I was just like going, oh my God, another day. And we're doing media interview after media interview, myself and Jacinta and them. And then we did sometimes 2 states a day and that was, you didn't know what bed you were in or whatever. And I've got to say, the Australian people were really great. They come up to us, we proved there was a silent majority because they come up to us and winked at us and whispered in our ear and say, kept it going. And I just fed off that energy. But every night I just collapsed in that hotel room.
But Warren, the problem we now get is that it just seems that the left, they've gone, OK, we lost that, so we'll just ignore the fact we lost it and we'll just plough on ahead with all these different policies. So do you have to do you and Jacinta have to, now fighting? I don't know your views on, for example, Welcome to Country or the land seizures at Tabia that we were talking about. But do these issues now need to be fought one by one?
I got over my desk at home a quote from Margaret Thatcher, which says, about wars and that. In politics, you don't win wars, you win battles. Yeah. And the next morning you get up and you've got to fight the same battle again, and it's just continuous. Well, that has resonated with me, and it is a battle now because, with Dutton, and I hope he does win the next federal election, there has to be a massive reform in this area, and we have to really close that gap, and it can be closed as quickly as possible, but it has to be a massive reform.
And that's why
we're up for the battle.
We've got the state governments having treaties and in Victoria, the entire Justice Department's having white privilege training in preparation for the treaty. This is just rife through the bureaucracy at state level, sometimes local government level and federally as well.
Look, if the answer is we need a committee, then we're in big trouble. And we've had 50 years of this. And we're in big trouble, and we're just seeing things worse. And look at Leah who won the Chief Minister in Northern Territory, who won the Northern Territory. The biggest issue by a country mile was crime, and crime in these communities. It's the same in North Queensland and in areas of Western New South Wales. The biggest issues is crime by a country mile. What are we doing about this? We're seeing this stupid battle about, should we raise it to 14 or keep it at 10 or whatever. To me, it's irrelevant. The real issue is we've got to go in there and face the facts in regard to how women are treated, how the kids are, and the issues that are happening. And the big ones, of course, if we can get kids to school instead of wandering the streets, if we can get them an education and we can get them to start a business or to get employed in that, then that will be a big step forward for dealing with some of these crime issues.
And what about you? You've got big companies with lots of money, deep pockets and all the rest. They think they're doing enough if they whack up an Aboriginal flag or they do a welcome to country or they put a sign up next to the veggie section or whatever it is saying this land was whatever. All the symbolic stuff. They do all that stuff. They pat themselves on the back and go, aren't we great? We're closing the gap or whatever. They're not doing anything. It's jobs for kids, isn't it? That's what it's all about. That's what companies should be focused on.
Well, look, that and women's health.
And women's health.
Woolworths come to be when they had that problem with Dan Murphy across from an Aboriginal community in Darwin, which is an idiotic thing to do. And they said, what should we do? And I said, what you should do is look at women's health, because unfortunately that young bloke who was shot by the police officers at Yuendamu, he had never had a chance from birth. You know, 14-year-old mother, having a baby, abandoned him in hospital. She was on drugs and alcohol and stuff. He was in a alcohol fetal syndrome he had, and then he was passed around by a whole lot of relatives, and he was abused and everything, sexually, mentally, and everything like that. And by the time of 9, he just said, "Oh, okay, well, stuff it. I'm going to do to other people what they did to me." And he was just a monster for all that time. And so I said, look at women's health and prenatal, and so how we can work with women and stop these teenagers or babies having babies, and actually start, making a strong family unit that can deal with these issues. There's a whole lot of things that we can do, and it's look, I'm a very simple bloke. Just simple things, Like I think the biggest thing you can do to a person is give them a job. Absolutely. You not only change 100%. Their life, you change their kids' lives and their grandkids' lives.
Warren Mundine, we've said it before, on the anniversary of the Voice victory, well done to you and Jacinta. You're fantastic. All of Australia thanks you for the great work you've done there, and the battles you're still going to be fighting.
Oh, there's a lot more battles to come.
More battles to come with Warren Mundine, absolutely, and Jacinta Price. Great.